Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle. Thanks for tuning in today. So today I just want to talk about my dancing journey. I also want to talk about the mindset of a beginner and communication. So many things actually. I just started dancing Kizomba 1 year ago. I started in December of, what year is that? 2022. And no, 2021, and it's been amazing. I started it actually because I found a Groupon. I used to dance bachata a lot more, and then I found a Groupon for some dance classes in Munich, and I decided to go to this one dance school that also happened to have some basic Kizomba classes, and I gave it a chance. At first, I wasn't really convinced. I thought it was cool, I would do it, but I still was mostly dancing bachata. And then I went to my first festival in Italy. I think that was in about March. Then ever since then, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I love this, and I've spent all my money and everything on it, and I love it, But what I want to really talk about is, things I've noticed after a year of doing it. So one is the beginner's mindset is very hard to embrace as an adult. For many reasons. This isn't just in dance, but it's mostly because we're so used to, at this point in our life, knowing how to do things, that going back to not knowing how to do something is very, very difficult. And at times people can take it as them being incompetent, but being a beginner doesn't make you dumb. It just means that you don't have the knowledge of that thing yet. So maybe you're really good at other things, but you're not good at this. And the better you can be at being a beginner, the better you can progress. So you're more likely to make more mistakes, but if you learn from your mistakes, which you should try to learn from all of your mistakes in life, then you can improve a lot better and a lot quicker. So I think by embracing the beginner part of this, one, it was just so much more exciting to me because I am used to most of the things that I was doing in my life and have been doing for a long time. I've been doing for a long time, and I'm good at those things. I'm good at volleyball. I'm good at playing different sports, but I hadn't done this thing. It was a dance that's very different. Although we like to say that it's similar to the other two, it's really, really not similar to bachata and salsa, except for the fact that they're both partner dances. But there was just so much to learn, and it got kind of addicting. Like, it's addicting to have that intense knowledge and overflow. And if you actually embrace being a beginner, it makes it even more fun during the beginning stages, because you get to go every week and learn something new, and then you get to reward yourself with all the I think it's endorphins and dopamine, maybe, I don't know, but you get the endorphins from moving around, you get the dopamine, then you're getting oxytocin, like you're getting all kinds of stuff, and there's so much from that. And the passion you start to gain, at least for me, that I started to gain from being excited to attend festivals and go learn something new and learn from this teacher, and wow, this is so great, and oh, I love that dancer. It was really, really lovely, and it's really fun to be a beginner if you choose that it's going to be fun to be a beginner. I'm speaking mostly as a follower right now. But in general, I think in life, if you start trying new things, just be an adult and try something new, because it's nice to try something new and also see how good you are at learning. Because, I mean, I love learning, so for me, this was a fantastic year. Dancing itself. So first I want to compare a lot of things in dancing, like communication. So first I'll break it down. Dancing is a lot, or learning Kizomba, and I'm only really talking about Kizomba right now. Learning Kizomba is like learning another language. And imagine that the follower is the person who's listening, and the leader is the person who's talking. And you have all this vocabulary you can use to communicate to the other one. But you're not using verbal vocabulary, you're using signals and different moves. So you go to your first class, let's say it's your Spanish class or whatever, and you learn some vocabulary, right? So imagine only half the students in the class are talking and then the other half are listening all the time. That's just the way the language works. And you're trying to get someone to do something. And if you're a talker, you are the one telling the other person to do it. And then you're trying to make sure that they can understand you in this new language. So the moves are like the vocabulary, right? I mean, I use this a lot more actually when I'm going to talk about leading and following. But for now, this has been very fun because basically, if you're a follower, you are listening to people talk to you. You're listening and listening. You're like, oh, this is interesting. Listen to how this person talks to me. Oh, I really like how this person talks to me. Oh, this person's words, the way they let it flow out. It's so nice. It's so smooth. And then this person's very abrupt when they talk. So it's really a lot like communication. And the more clear you are, the nicer it is. And when you go to a class, it's also the same thing. You're learning, as if you were going to a language class, you're learning how to put these, first you learn some words in your basic class, and then you learn how to put all these words together to make sentences. It's amazing. And so then you go to a festival and you're like, wow, listen to how all these people talk. This is really nice. And you have to observe it like the better you get at interpreting, the more stories you can listen to and the more funny jokes you can understand. And that's the same with dancing. The better you get, the more you can interpret. When it comes to leading and following, that's really interesting because in the beginning, of course, you're able to understand and listen to another language way better than you can speak it. And so you have to be more patient with leaders because leaders are learning the vocabulary and they have to talk all the time. Maybe their accent's not perfect. Maybe they're not doing everything perfect, but they're trying their best. And I think, I have a lot more sympathy and empathy for leaders after trying a few classes as a leader. But for now, I just want to talk about the journey of being a listener. And it's amazing. It's amazing because then when you so you get used to listening to people in your own town, but then when you go to a festival, you get to listen to all these people from all these other places telling you all these stories in such nice ways. And some people are so clear and you're like, wow, I can understand. It's just like you're in class. If you're talking to the teacher or someone who is really good at that language, they can say it in a way that makes it easier for you to interpret versus someone who's first learning a language. They might be saying the words all kinds of wrong and you're trying your best, but you can't understand them as well as you can someone who's advanced. So you go and you're like, wow, this is so lovely. And I just am very appreciative of all the stories I got to hear this year and so many dances and so many different styles. Another thing I want to talk about is also teachers and leveling up. And as someone who really likes, maybe people will say I'll change this, I don't know. As someone who really likes taking classes, and I really like not just taking classes, but like going to the workshops and different things so I can always progress and learn something new. That's the thing. If you go to the workshops and learn something new or learn how to interpret more words, then you can understand more words. And then when you go to the dance floor, you can listen to and participate in more stories. But if you keep your language level at a certain level, you won't be able to interpret the same amount of stories. And I like going to the classes, but, and there's some really amazing teachers out there. My thing is, and this is me dedicating these videos are for myself. These videos are like my diary, so I can remember what it's like to be a beginner. And saying that, what I want to talk about is like a lot of people forget what it was like to be a beginner very quickly. And they forget how to communicate with someone who doesn't know yet the situation, doesn't know yet these words. It's kind of like, if you've ever tried learning a language, this will make a lot of sense. But if you haven't, I will try my best to explain it. When you talk to a native speaker, let's say you're so advanced that you're nearly native. It's very hard for that native speaker to explain to someone, they think they're doing it, but they're not, how to formulate sentences in a way that they can understand. And the reason I say that is because I think there are a lot of people people feel the natural progression in many things, not just dance, is to get really good at something, and then because you're good at it, you should go teach. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but if you're going to teach, like, care about teaching. Don't see it as the only way that you can be like an advanced dancer. You can be an advanced dancer and not teach. You can help someone with some basics and not necessarily become a teacher. Why? Because there's so many things I miss out on if I'm not giving the correct information. And there's a lot of money spent on teaching and whatnot. And I think a lot of teachers forget what it was like to be a beginner. And in that case, then maybe they should teach more like intermediate people. And the reason I say that, because I'm still like closer to the beginner stage than to one day hopefully being more advanced, is that you're not remembering the wording and the usage. So even when I'm doing mindset work as a mindset coach and I'm talking to someone, I have to make sure that I'm not using coach words when I'm talking to them. I can't use the words over here because they're not there yet mentally. They don't have this vocabulary to understand this stuff. So I need to figure out what they need to say. What is an example of this? Because I had a friend, I told her, I was like, yeah, a lot of teachers forget what it's like to be a beginner in the way that they're not communicating all the details. They make a lot of assumptions that you know a lot of things that you don't know yet. For example, this one's really good because I met a beginner girl the other day and she thought this was great. So you hear this a lot as a follower, just walk. Okay. I understand now, after a year, what people are trying to say when they say just walk. As a beginner, that made no sense. Makes no sense. And I would love to insert just a video of someone walking down the street because it's not just walking. And also, I even got told, I don't know, a month or two ago that I wasn't walking correctly. And I'm like, so don't tell people to just walk. Maybe I don't know what you should tell them, right? Because to be honest, I'm not a Kizomba teacher, so I don't have the correct wording. But I can tell you, it took until, I think that lesson was in September. I started in December. It took until September for Pamelita, amazing teacher who actually puts a lot of work into making sure she can explain things. So she's talking, you should listen. She explained it so clearly beyond just saying, yeah, just walk. She's like, yeah, it means just walk, but it actually means blah, 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 blah. And she said that, and then I went to the social and I was like, wow, I've paid for a lot of classes and a lot of things to not get that ounce of information that could have been explained in a better way much sooner. So just saying, really try to learn what works for people to hear you. I mean, this is a great communication tip in general, but if you're going to be a teacher, learn the words and the vocabulary and how you need to say it so that more people can understand you. The way I do this as a coach is like, when someone looks like they finally understood me, I try to think about, what did I just say? What did I just say? Which part did they click with? So that I can continuously use that part or whatever part in the future when I'm trying to explain it to someone. But they should do. Yeah, go pay Pamelita. She deserves the money because she's very clear and I get better every time. So yeah, to be honest, teachers, just care about your students. Also, teachers, it's really cool if y'all want to get better at teaching, which would be like what I'm talking about now. And I try to do this as a coach, so I'm not just only saying the things. Try to get better at the communication and then just teaching in general. How do you explain things? And it's also really cool when you are also continuously getting better at dancing. Just saying, it's really cool when you continuously get better at dancing. I know a lot of teachers don't take workshops from other teachers. I find that interesting, especially for beginner teachers. Advanced people, I'm not talking about them, but for beginner teachers, and I'm talking about teaching, not advanced dancers, advanced teachers. Why? Because when you go to a workshop, and I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying my observance. And I'm not saying you never go. I'm not really saying anything except talking to myself. So observe how other people teach. And you can literally see what do you like and what you don't like. And then keep what you like and try to make sure you don't do the things that you don't like. That's getting better. Like if I'm even attending workshops, one of the most beautiful things about Kizomba is like how you can have so much of your own unique style. And I think this is amazing, because so many other dances you still have a lot of structure in the boxes, but Kizomba, you can have so much of your own style and be so creative on your own. When I go to a class, I know that, hey, I like this style, I don't like this style, and I've never been more okay with, like, yeah, I don't like that style, and that's fine. There are plenty of people who like certain styles. Each teacher has their own style, right? But you can go in and you can take the class and you'd be like, okay, I like this part of this lady's styling, but I learned this, I try to learn it, but that's not something I'm gonna incorporate. So you don't have to incorporate everything, but you can still learn about everything to create your own style. So teachers can do this, students can do this. It's like, I think someone earlier this year called it like grocery shopping, where you are going through the grocery store and like everything's there, you can see it, but that doesn't mean you have to keep all of it. You're just like, oh, I like this, I like that. And then you come up with your own thing. Please leave me a like and subscribe. I'm going to do a lot of videos on this journey with dancing because it's such a big part of my life. But I also think that there's so many lessons here that can be shifted over to mindset and how you can deal with approaching people and how different people are. Anywho, have a wonderful week. Give me a like and have a great day. Bye.